I stood in the shadows of the Ritz-Carlton's Grand Ballroom in New York, my eyes fixed on my sister, Lily, twirling in a wedding dress that cost more than my car. $10,000, sparkling under crystal chandeliers, catching every glint from her diamond tiara. Her laughter bounced off the marble floors, bright and carefree, the same laugh she used 3 months ago when she begged me to co-sign a $60,000 loan. I'm Emma, the responsible, dull older sister who fixes every mess. Tonight, I was also the one clutching a loan agreement that felt like a grenade with the pin half pulled. Emma, honey, why aren't you dancing? My mother, Sarah's voice cut through, laced with that familiar hint of judgment. She gestured to the dance floor, where Lily and her new husband, James, swayed, lost in their perfect moment. Someone's got to pay the vendors, I said, tapping my tablet, my voice flat. Unless you want to handle the invoices yourself. Sarah wrinkled her nose, adjusting her silk shawl, custom-made for the occasion. That's your thing, dear. Numbers. Lily's always been our dreamer. I swallowed the retort I'd buried for 29 years. Instead, I forced a smile and swiped to the loan contract on my screen. The terms glared back, a landmine hidden in fine print, checked 100 times to make sure it was still there. $60,000. Lily's dream wedding, her happily ever after, all resting on my credit score, now teetering on the edge. Do you remember when Lily first showed us this place? Sarah went on, mistaking my silence for sentiment. She said it was worth every penny. I remembered, but not like she did. That day, Lily's mascara-streaked face flashed in my mind, her voice desperate. Emma, please. The bank won't approve without a cosigner. You're the only one with good credit. I'd told her it was because I paid my bills. She'd grabbed my hand, promising James's startup was about to soar, that they'd pay every dime. Family helps family, my father, Robert, had said, barely looking up from his newspaper. I almost laughed then. Lily never helped anyone but herself. Now, watching her spin under the lights, I wondered if she even read the contract. Or if James, grinning with his champagne glass raised, knew what was coming. The clause. The trap. My safety net and their noose. The wedding planner, Claire, appeared beside me. Photographers asking about sunset photos in Central Park. Are we still doing them? Of course, Lily's voice chimed in as she grabbed James's arm. Emma, you're the glue here. You made this possible. Her words hit like a blade. If only she knew how true that was. 3 months before the chandeliers lit up the Ritz-Carlton, I sat in my cramped Brooklyn apartment, staring at my sister, Lily, across the coffee table. Her eyes were red, mascara smudged, her voice trembling. Emma, please. The bank won't approve the $60,000 loan without a cosigner. You're the only one with good enough credit. Her hands clutched mine, desperate, promising the world. I wanted to pull away, but her grip was tight, like she was drowning and I was the only lifeline. Why me? I asked, already knowing the answer. My credit score was pristine, built on years of paying bills on time, skipping vacations, and eating instant noodles to save a buck. Lily, though? She lived for the moment, her dreams always bigger than her bank account. Because your family, she said, voice breaking. James's startup is about to take off. It's a sure thing. We'll pay every dime back, I swear. Her fiancé, James, nodded from the couch, flashing a smile that didn't reach his eyes. I didn't trust that smile. Not then, not ever. My parents, Sarah and Robert, piled on the pressure that night. Sarah perched on my worn-out armchair, her designer purse a stark contrast to my thrift store furniture. Family helps family, Emma, she said, her tone soft, but edged with expectation. Lily's counting on you. Robert, nursing a coffee, didn't even look up from his phone. She'd do the same for you, he muttered. I nearly choked on my water. Lily? Help someone else? She'd never lifted a finger unless it sparkled with her own dreams. But their words burrowed deep, guilt twisting like a knife. That's what family does, right? I signed the papers that night, my pen heavy, my stomach churning. The terms were clear, $60,000, with a clause buried in the fine print. If Lily and James defaulted and fled the country, The debt would fall on our parents. I told myself it was just a formality, a backup plan. But deep down, I knew better. A week later, I saw something that turned my unease into dread. I was at a Starbucks in Manhattan, grabbing a rare latte, when I glanced at James's laptop screen across the room. 2 one-way tickets to Belize, booked for a month after the wedding. His eyes met mine, and he snapped the laptop shut, too fast, too guilty. I forced a smile, sipped my coffee, and left. But my hands shook as I walked home. Lily's promises echoed in my head, hollow now. We'll pay it back. Sure. Just like she paid back the $500 she borrowed for art supplies last year. Or the time she crashed my car and swore she'd cover the repairs. I was the fool who kept believing her. Not anymore. The sunset over Central Park bathed the wedding party in a golden glow, but I felt cold, standing on the grass with my tablet clutched like a shield. Lily, radiant in her $10,000 gown, posed on a stone ledge, her laughter cutting through the evening air. James, her new husband, whispered something in her ear, making her giggle, their hands intertwined. The photographer snapped away, calling for happy family shots, but my smile was a mask, my mind racing with the weight of the $60,000 loan I'd co-signed. Emma, get in the frame. Lily called, waving me over with a grin that felt like a taunt. You're the glue holding this together. Her words stung, sharp and true in a way she didn't intend. I was the glue stuck with the bills, the stress, and the secrets. I stepped forward, my heels sinking into the soft earth, and joined the group, my parents, Sarah and Robert, flanking Lily like she was the sun and I was just a shadow. Sarah adjusted her shawl, her eyes soft with pride for Lily. This is perfect, she murmured, oblivious to the storm brewing inside me. Robert stood stiffly, his gaze distant, probably already mentally back at his newspaper. I forced a smile for the camera, but my fingers swiped to the loan contract on my tablet, the fine print a silent scream. If Lily and James defaulted and fled, Sarah and Robert would be on the hook. Did they even read it before signing? Did anyone? The photographer shouted, big smiles. This is a celebration. I grinned wider, my thoughts elsewhere. That morning, an email from my lawyer friend, Rachel, had landed in my inbox. The clause is ironclad, she wrote. If they miss a payment and leave the country, your parents are liable. You're protected. Protected. The word felt hollow when I saw James wink at me across the park, his champagne glass raised like a dare. Did he know I'd seen those Belize tickets? Did he care? Lily grabbed my arm, pulling me closer for another shot. You're the best sister, she said, her breath sweet with champagne. None of this would have happened without you. Her words twisted the knife deeper. I wanted to scream that I'd paid for her fairy tale with my credit, my future. Instead, I nodded, my throat tight, and let the photographer position me like a prop. As the sun dipped lower, I stepped back, watching my family pose without me. Lily's laughter, Sarah's doting, Robert's indifference, it was all so familiar, yet so suffocating. I gripped my tablet, the claws glowing like a lifeline. Loyalty or betrayal? I wasn't sure which I was choosing anymore. But standing there, in the fading light of Central Park, I knew one thing. I wasn't the glue. I was the spark, and this fire was just beginning. 6 months after the wedding, I sat in a cozy Brooklyn cafe, the smell of espresso sharp against the ache in my chest. My phone glowed with 32 missed calls from Lily, 16 from James, and a flood of unread texts. The first loan payment, $60,000, was 3 weeks late. I sipped my latte, staring at Lily's latest Instagram post, her and James on a tropical beach, cocktails raised, captioned, living debt-free, chasing destiny. Blessed. My stomach twisted. Debt-free? That was my credit score they were burning. You're obsessed, Rachel, my lawyer friend said, sliding into the seat across from me with 2 fresh coffees. How many times have you checked her Instagram today? I turned my phone to show her the post. They're mocking me, I said, voice low. Living their best life while I'm drowning in their mess. Rachel's nails tapped the table, her eyes narrowing. You knew this was coming. They've always used you. I switched to my texts. A message from Sarah, my mom, sent that morning. The bank called again, Emma. Please fix this. You know your dad's heart can't handle stress. Fix this. Like I'd fixed everything else: Robert's hospital bills, Lily's art school, their endless emergencies. I was 29 and still their ATM. Rachel leaned forward. Have you told them about the clause yet? Not yet, I said, my finger hovering over an email draft to the loan agency. I'm waiting. My phone buzzed. A voicemail from Lily. I put it on speaker, her voice bright but strained. Hey, sis, sorry I've been hard to reach. Wi-Fi spotty here. Those payment notices you keep sending? I know you'll handle it. You're a genius with money. Love you. Oh, and stop calling so much, it's killing our vibe. Kisses. Rachel's jaw dropped. The nerve. I deleted the voicemail, my hands steady but my heart racing. She thinks I'll bail her out again. You won't, Rachel said, her voice firm. You're done being their doormat. I opened the email draft, attaching the loan contract with the clause highlighted. If Lily and James defaulted and fled the country, Sarah and Robert would owe the full amount. Proof of their Belize tickets was attached, timestamped from that Starbucks months ago. My finger lingered over the send button, the weight of years: Lily's betrayals, Sarah's guilt trips, Robert's silence pressing down on me. Rachel squeezed my hand. Remember when they drained your college fund for Lily's art school? Or made you cover Robert's surgery while she partied in Miami? I nodded, my resolve hardening. Lily's beach photo flashed in my mind, her smug caption a taunt. I hit send. The email whooshed away, a quiet bomb launched. Rachel raised her coffee cup. To consequences. I clinked mine against hers, feeling the first spark of freedom. To making them pay. The glass walls of my Manhattan office felt like a cage as Sarah, my mother, burst in, her mascara perfect but her eyes red. They're threatening to take our house, Emma, she said, collapsing into the chair across my desk. The house you grew up in. Her voice trembled, but I kept typing, my gaze fixed on my computer screen. The $60,000 loan was a noose, and I wasn't the one wearing it anymore. Same house you refinanced for Lily's art school? I said, not looking up. That house. Sarah flinched, dabbing her eyes with a silk handkerchief, probably another gift bought with my money. That's different. Lily had potential. Potential, I repeated, finally meeting her gaze. Is that why you took my college fund? $30,000 for her dreams, while I worked 2 jobs to afford community college. Her lips parted, but no words came. My phone buzzed, a video call from Lily. I answered on speaker, her flushed face filling the screen. Mom's crying because of you, she snapped, her voice sharp with anger. How could you do this to them? I leaned back, calm as ice. Like you did to me? Except I used a contract, not tears. Sarah gasped, clutching her handkerchief. Behind Lily, James paced, barking into his phone, his face tight with worry. Having visa trouble? I asked, my tone mockingly sweet. Lily's eyes widened. How do you know that? International debt notices do wonders for your credit score, I said. Especially in Belize. You didn't, Sarah whispered, her voice breaking. I didn't do anything, I said. You signed the contract. Section 7.3. If Lily skips out, you and Dad owe the $60,000. Consequences, Mom. You taught me that. Lily's face twisted. They're revoking our visas. James's contracts are collapsing. You're ruining everything. You ran from your debts, I shot back. I'm just letting the mess catch up. Girls, please, Sarah pleaded, her hands trembling. We can fix this. No, I said, standing. My 2 o'clock is waiting. You know where the door is. Lily sobbed, I'm your sister. There are parents. Funny how family only matters when you need something, I said, ending the call with a tap. I turned to Sarah, my voice steady. The debt agency's number is in their letter. Call them before they call you. Sarah stood, her shoulders sagging, and shuffled to the door. She paused, looking back. You'll regret this when you need us. I've needed you plenty, I said, my voice low. Where were you when I was eating ramen to pay Dad's hospital bills? When Lily was posting selfies in Miami? She left without another word. My hands shook as I sat down, but my resolve didn't waver. The game was over. They'd face the fallout, and I'd watch from the sidelines, free at last. The dining room in my parents' Long Island home smelled of lasagna, my childhood favorite, but the nostalgia felt like a trap. Sarah, my mom, served me a heaping plate, her smile forced. "Your dad made this just for you, Emma," she said, her voice sugary. "Remember helping him in the kitchen?" "I remember paying for his heart meds after those cooking sessions," I said, setting my fork down. "Let's skip the memories and get to the point." Robert, my dad, cleared his throat, his hands fidgeting. "The bank's relentless. They're pushing hard on the $60,000 loan." "Banks do that when you owe them money," I said, my tone flat. Sarah jumped in, her eyes pleading. "We could sell the Hamptons cottage. We're exploring options." "The cottage I was supposed to inherit?" I laughed, sharp and bitter. "The one you rented to Lily for her wedding?" "That's unfair," Robert said, his voice soft, almost broken. "Unfair?" I pulled a stack of papers from my bag and slapped them on the table. "Let's talk fair. This spreadsheet lists every dollar I've given you. Page 1, $30,000 for your hospital bills, Dad. Page 2, $45,000 from my college fund for Lily's art school. $12,000 for her first car. Want me to keep going?" Sarah pushed the papers away, her face pale. "We're not here to dig up the past. You're here because debt collectors won't stop calling," I said, leaning forward. "You raised me to fix your messes, but you gave Lily everything." "We gave you a home," Robert said, his voice shaking. "We raised you." "You raised me to be Lily's bank," I shot back. "I earned everything I have." My phone buzzed. A text from Rachel, "How's the ambush going?" I smirked, but before I could reply, Sarah grabbed my hand. "Honey, we can fix this. For family." I yanked my hand back. Where was family when I worked 2 jobs for Dad's surgery, while Lily posted beach pics from Miami? Robert's face crumpled. "We thought you'd let the contract slide. We knew Lily and James planned to leave. We helped them." The admission hit like a punch. "You helped them run?" My voice was low, dangerous. "With my money?" My phone buzzed again. A message from James. "Cute move with the visa issue, Emma. I know dirt on your company. Rethink your stance." I showed the screen to my parents. "Your golden couple's threatening me now." Sarah's eyes widened. "They're scared." "They should be," I said, standing. "Call the debt agency. Sell the cottage. I'm done cleaning up." "Emma, please," Sarah called as I headed for the door. "What will people think?" I turned, my voice cold. "They'll think you've finally faced consequences." Outside, my hands shook on the steering wheel. James's threat echoed, but I forwarded it to Rachel with one word: Phase 2. The real fight was just beginning. The Hamptons beach stretched wide before me, waves crashing as I sat on the sand, my phone buzzing with chaos. Rachel had just burst into my Manhattan office hours earlier, her tablet blazing with social media feeds. "It's happening," she said, shoving the screen in my face. Loan documents. My loan, Lily's debt, had leaked to a financial whistleblower site. Twitter and Instagram were on fire. Lily's latest beach post was drowning in comments. "Scamming your sister to live large? Disgusting. Pay your debts, frauds." My lips twitched. Justice was loud. My phone buzzed again. "James, calling." I let it ring, then read his text. "What did you do?" "Our sponsors are bailing." I typed back, "Not me. Truths, just catching up." Another notification pinged, an email from Robert, my dad. Subject: "We need to talk. 7 p.m. Home. Alone." Rachel read it over my shoulder. "It's a trap." "Obviously," I said, shutting my laptop. "But I'm going." The Long Island house looked smaller in the dusk, its porch sagging. Robert sat alone on the steps, his face etched with 61 years of regret. "Your mom's not here," he said as I approached. "I wanted to do this myself." "Do what?" I asked, my voice sharp. He handed me a stack of papers, emails, bank statements, texts. Lily and James's plan to flee with my $60,000, all laid bare. "We found these when they left," he said, voice low. "We knew their plan. We thought you'd fix it, like always." "You knew," I whispered, my chest tight. "And you let them use me." His eyes glistened. We called Lily today. Their visas are revoked. James's business is collapsing. They're trapped. Karma's not subtle, I said, sitting beside him, keeping my distance. Why tell me now? He pulled an envelope from his jacket. This was in Lily's room. For you. From the wedding. I opened it. A note in Lily's script. Emma, thanks for being our ATM. Mom and Dad will handle the rest. Love, Lily. I folded it, my hands steady. She never saw me as family. Neither did you. Robert's voice broke. We saw you as the solution. We were wrong. My phone buzzed. Rachel, fraud team wants an interview. Ready for the final nail. I looked at Robert. You testified against them, didn't you? We told the truth, he said, standing, papers trembling in his hands. What do you want from us? I want you to feel the mess you made, I said. No one's saving you this time. As he walked away, I opened my banking app. The Hamptons cottage, the one they'd sold to cover the debt, was mine. Bought below market, thanks to their desperation. Full circle. I stood, sand clinging to my jeans, and felt the weight lift. The end was here, and I was writing it. The Hamptons beach was quiet, waves whispering against the shore as I sat on the sand, the deed to my new cottage tucked in my bag. My phone glowed with a final notice from the debt agency. The $60,000 loan was settled, my parents' assets liquidated. Case closed. I exhaled, the weight of years, Lily's betrayals, Sarah's guilt trips, Robert's silence dissolving into the salty air. Freedom tasted like sea spray. My phone buzzed. Rachel sent an article. Local couple detained at border for fraud. Lily and James, caught sneaking into Mexico. I smiled, sharp and satisfied. Another buzz. Sarah, my mom, texting. They're holding Lily for questioning. Please help. I typed back, new phone. Who's this? The wind swallowed her next messages, and I didn't chase them. My laptop pinged. An email from the fraud investigators. Thank you for your cooperation. Charges filed. I whispered to the waves, good. A shadow fell over me. Robert, my dad, stood there, his suit hanging loose, his face carved with defeat. The house sold, he said, sitting heavily beside me. We're moving to an apartment next week. Downsizing suits you, I said, closing my laptop. Your mom's a mess, he continued, sand slipping through his fingers. I'm not here to beg. You were right. We let Lily drain you. We weren't parents. We were enablers. His voice cracked. Your spreadsheet, every dollar you gave us, it matches what we lost. Karma's brutal. I nodded, staring at the horizon. I bought the cottage this morning. Below market. Thanks to your fire sale. His eyes widened, then softened. You deserved it. My phone lit up. A video call from Lily, her face streaked with tears, a detention center's gray walls behind her. I answered. They're charging us with fraud, she sobbed. Mom and Dad testified. How could you let this happen? How could you leave me with $60,000 in debt? I shot back, holding up my house keys. Remember this beach? The cottage you loved? It's mine now. Forever. You'll never set foot here again. You monster, she hissed. I ended the call, blocked her number. Rachel appeared on the beach stairs, 2 champagne glasses in hand. To the new house? She asked, grinning. To choosing myself, I said, taking a glass. We clinked, the sunset painting the sky in shades of justice. My phone stayed silent, no more emergencies, no more manipulation. Just peace, a deed in my name, and waves washing away the past. Revenge didn't roar. It whispered in contracts, in deeds, in the quiet click of a blocked number. It felt like shutting the door on those who saw me as a solution, never a sister, never a daughter. It felt like freedom, hard-won and mine alone. The cottage stood behind me, solid, real. I was home,